So I had a couple videos planned, a couple different ideas that I was going to talk about, but as I was filming them, I just wasn't in it. I didn't really care to make those videos. So after some thought, I decided to land on the relationship between Elliot Stabler and Olivia Benson. They are Law & Order SVU characters, and if you don't know, Elliot Stabler left in season 12. It was a contract negotiation. He left the show, leaving Benson in shambles and trying to rebuild herself emotionally after her number one person just left her out of the blue with no notice. And then a couple years ago, Dick Wolf and his whole enterprise created the show Law & Order Organized Crime, where Elliot Stabler, played by Chris Maloney, is one of the detectives in the organized crime unit. So Olivia and Elliot's worlds collided again. If you've watched Law & Order SVU and you saw their relationship build from season 1 to season 12, it to me was a bond deeper than a romantic bond. Like, not really soulmates, but a partnership that was strong and that they trusted each other without a shadow of a doubt. They had their ups and downs. They had their little tiffs, their little arguments, but in the end, they always had each other's backs when they were fighting these criminals and also against Kragan or 1PP. And there was a little bit of that sexual tension between them, but Elliot was always married to his wife, Kathy. So they never crossed that line. However, to me, in those seasons, there wasn't a will they, won't they. It was more than that. It was just like these really great friends and partners who worked well with each other and who may have had some sort of attraction. There were some other times when they had the psychologist come in. Kragan was like, do I need to separate these two? Can they do their job? And she was like,
in my opinion, Detectives Benson and Stabler have a degree of mutual reliance, emotional dependence, that compromises their effectiveness as police officers. They're too close.
You recommend I split them up?
If you want to lose your two best detectives.
moving forward, in the time that Elliot was gone, Benson had a really strong relationship with the 1PP guy. I forget his name, okay? But you know who I'm talking about. I'll put a picture of him right here. She had a really good relationship with him, who, funnily enough, they hated him, she and Stabler did, because he was always investigating cops. That was his job. So when Elliot returns with organized crime, they addressed it more. In SVU originally, it was just there. You could just feel it. Then when Elliot came back, there was a letter. There was him being poisoned or drunk or something, where he was expressing all of this stuff to Olivia about the letter, and he didn't write it. And then Kathy was dead, so then there was some type of opportunity for them to be something more than friends. But to me, that is, one, weird, and then two, rushed, because they hadn't seen each other in 10 years. And then the second that he comes back, they're going to start something they could have a romantic relationship. That makes no sense to me. As you watch SVU and when he was gone during that time period, some conversations were had with Kelly Giddish and with the other lady from Law and Order Criminal Intent, about the relationship between the partners and having feelings for somebody else. Now, winter season finale for SVU just aired last week, and Kelly Giddish, as you know, left the show. She played Detective Rollins, and she and Benson grew their relationship throughout the 12 seasons that Kelly Giddish was on SVU. They're sitting on the bed, and they had this conversation about,
I did feel like Stabler was my home. But he left me, Amanda, and I'm not over it. And with her gone, it's there's nothing but possibility.
And to me, that's the first time that Benson has directly said, yes, there's a possibility for her and Stabler to be romantically involved. And it just rubbed me the wrong way, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know if Benson and Stabler are meant to be together in that romantic sense. I don't know if I feel that for them. Maybe 10, 12 years ago, before he left, they were headed there. After 10 years and then 2 or 3 years after he's returned, you're just going to jump into the relationship. I just don't feel, and probably because they're not on the same show anymore, I don't feel that chemistry or that bond between Benson and Stabler like I did before. Do you feel that, or do you not feel that? As these seasons go on, I'm I don't want Benson with Stabler unless they can become Benson and Stabler again. But they can't do that because they're on 2 separate TV shows. So there's never going to be that connection that we want and that we yearn for, but Benson is really making Stabler work for it. Stabler's putting it on too much for Benson. I don't know if I'm into it. Am I just being too judgy and too cold-hearted and not taking into the fact that they knew each other for longer than a decade? Like, a lot of life had happened in between then. Stabler had become a new person. Benson has gone through hell and back. When Stabler was gone with that crazy dude who burned his fingertips, with her son Noah, she's gone through a lot. They aren't the same people that they were back when Stabler left. And she was heartbroken by him because he left without notice. Her whole world, literally that's what she does in the show. You were my number one person, you just... Maybe I'm just being a Grinch this Christmas. Y'all remember when Danny came, season 7 or 8, to take the place of Benson? In real life, that was when Mariska was pregnant and she was off on assignment. She was doing the undercover work maybe with the environmentalist people. You can see that Benson is uncomfortable with that because she has some sort of tie or some sort of like string, invisible string, to borrow from Taylor Swift. She has an attachment to Stabler that she felt some sort of jealousy. I hate saying that, but she felt ownership on Stabler because that was her partner, number one, and then number two, had this deep connection with him. But I feel like if someone came in, like when Stabler's Italian friend came in for Organized Crime and was helping her, I was like, okay, I can see Stabler and this Italian woman being together more so than I can Stabler and Benson. And I hated that because that's not how I used to feel. You just felt it later on than you do now, and you just don't really feel it now because they're just so grown, I guess. They've grown in two different parts. It's just been weighing on me after I watched the SVU episode. I don't know, man. I'm not really for it right now. Something has to change. I just need them to work cases together. Do I want them together in the end? Not as it stands right now. If we had carried on from season 12 and they were still there and Stabler never left, yes, possibly. But as it stands now, they haven't given me a reason to ship them back together again. Maybe it just needs to be a slower burn. Maybe we just need to wait until the very end. That's all I got for you this week. My Elliot and Olivia breakdown. Hope y'all have a wonderful holiday season. We're going to be posting videos every Tuesday until the end of the year, and then we'll still continue posting in 2023. Thank y'all for sticking with us this full year. We're going to have a great season coming up in 2023, so make sure you continue watching, subscribing, liking our videos, and we'll see you next Tuesday.